Hi guys, Chris here from IELTS Advantage, and did you know that the average score for an IELTS student doing the writing test worldwide is 5.5? Now that's really shocking considering that most of the students that I deal with need a 7 or above. So last week I produced an article called Why Do Students Get 5.5, or what are the common traits that 5.5 students have, and what are the traits that exceptional students have. So that was the most popular article that I've ever done. Thank you very much to everybody who read it, but I know that a lot of people don't have time to read a 2,000 word article. So what I thought I would do today is go through the 5 different commonalities, the 5 different things that average students have in common, and then talk about the 5 things that exceptional students who get the scores that they need, get a 7 or above, in a shorter video, just to make it more accessible for you. And at the end of this video, I'll also be telling you how you can win my VIP course worth $500. So today is Saturday the 11th, I think. Yep, the 11th of November. So if you're watching this today, it ends on the 13th of November, the giveaway. So I'll be telling you more about that at the end of the video. So let's talk about these common traits. So I think I have nearly 1 million followers on different social media platforms and email and all those different things. So I'm exposed to a huge number of students every single day, and I get emails from students telling me their stories, asking me for help. So I know more than most about why students don't get the score that they need and why students do get the score that they need. And I've identified 5 common traits, 5 common things that the average student does, the student who might be getting a 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, and the common traits, the common things that exceptional students do. So what are they? Well, first of all, the one thing that it's not intelligence. So in my VIP group, I have doctors, engineers, lawyers, MBA students, postgraduate students, some of the most intelligent people you can ever meet, and they are still struggling with this test, especially the writing test. It also is not really correlated to linguistic ability, your general English level. If you have seen some of the students who I have dealt with in the past, I make like testimonial videos, you'll notice like a lot of them have a very, very, very high level of English, but they were struggling with the writing test. They were struggling to get a band 6 or a band 6.5. So it's not really the 2 things that you would think. It's some other things that most students wouldn't really think about. So let's look at the 5 things that I've identified that the average student does. So number 1, they consume huge amounts of information. So they have watched every YouTube video, they have read every single IELTS website, they have read every single PDF and book about IELTS. Now, information alone is not going to help you. A lot of students are completely overwhelmed with the amount of information out there. And a lot of the information out there is not reliable, especially on the internet, and especially on YouTube and different types of blogs. And number 2, there's a huge amount of conflicting information out there. So it's no wonder that the average student consuming all of this conflicting, confusing information is going to get a low score. So that's one thing that they all have in common. Number 2, they have many, many different teachers. So in my class, if I'm teaching something, hands will go up and it will be like, my old teacher said to do it this way. And then another hand will go up, IELTS Jimmy on his website said to do it another way. And then another hand will go up, in my IELTS book it says to do it another way. So there's 2 things there. There are many, many, many correct ways of doing things when it comes to IELTS writing. There are also many, many wrong ways of doing things. So again, if you are looking at lots and lots of different information and have many different teachers and are following many different systems, you are going to be very, very confused, and your writing will be a reflection of how confused your thinking is. So on the IELTS test, on the writing test, one of the number 1 things that you have to do is write in a clear, coherent way. If you are following 5 or 6 different teachers, you're going to write in a very incoherent way. You're also going to have a lot of doubt, and you're going to be very worried and very stressed out. That's not a really good idea. Number 3, they hope they will get a good score. So day after day I get emails from students who say, I've got 6.5 10 times in a row, and I hope that I'm lucky next time, or I hope that I will get the score next time. Hope and luck have nothing to do with it. If you got 6.5 or 6 or 5.5 10 times in a row or 15 times in a row, that is your score. Hope is not really going to help you improve. Taking action, doing something, getting feedback on your work is going to help you improve. But saying I hope I'm lucky the next time, so many students do that. So many average students do that. Number 4, they want hacks, tips and hints. Most people do their IELTS test on a Saturday. Every Friday I get at least 50 to 100 emails from students saying, my test is tomorrow, can you give me some tips? Or my test is tomorrow, can you give me hacks or hints or shortcuts? This is the same attitude that people who think that they can lose weight by not dieting, or can build muscle and get really fit without exercising, or people who think they can get rich without actually doing any work. These things do not work. You do not get something for nothing. Tips and hacks and cheats and all of those things do not work. If they worked, then the person that had this magical cheat that would allow people to get a band 7 would be a multi-millionaire. That person does not exist, because these tips and hacks and cheats do not work. You are lying to yourself if you think that they are working. Number 5, they take no action. So if you are consuming huge amounts of information, you're jumping from teacher to teacher, you really hope that you will get the score that you need, and you're looking for hacks, tips and hints and all of those different things, you are taking no action. You're not actually doing anything. Watching 6 hours of YouTube every day about IELTS, or reading IELTS books every day, you're not actually doing anything. You're just consuming lots of information. You're a bit like a bodybuilder, someone who's trying to build muscle and is just consuming food without actually doing any exercise. You're going to get very fat like me. You have to take action. You have to actually do something, because writing, you have to do it in the test. There's a huge difference between learning and doing. Could you learn how to drive a car by reading a book about it? No. Could you learn how to box or play football or cook a delicious meal by reading a book about it? No, you would have to take action and actually do something. So those are the 5 things that the average student does. What are the 5 things that exceptional students do? So I work with these students every single day, students that get the scores that they need. What are the 5 things that they have in common? And they all do all of these things. Number 1, they have a system in place. So they're not running about the internet looking at every single article. They have a curriculum. They know exactly what they're doing, what they need to study, and they have a study plan in place. So instead of just, Googling how to pass IELTS and then reading every single article on the internet, they just do this, then they do that, then they do that. They know exactly what they're doing in terms of consuming information and learning new things and doing new things. They have a system in place. And they also have a system in place for actually writing their essay or writing their task 1 response. It's as easy as opening up the question and just applying the system step by step. Number 2, they get feedback. This is absolutely crucial. How many students have you listened to online or read their stories where they're like, I've no idea why I'm getting a 6.5, and that's not really your fault, or I've no idea why I'm getting a 5.5. IELTS are not going to give you feedback. They're not going to tell you exactly what you're doing wrong, but a teacher, an expert, can tell you exactly what you're doing wrong, or they should be able to tell you. So I can look at a student's task 2 essay, a practice essay that they do, and tell them, okay, this is right, this is right, this is right, but you need to fix this, you need to fix this, and you need to fix this. So I'm telling them the exact reasons why they are getting a 6.5 or a 6 or a 5.5, and exactly what to do in order to move towards a 7. Number 3, they're strategic, all right? So when they get feedback on their work, they're not going to study absolutely everything. They're only going to study the things that they need help with. So the analogy that I use is, if you had a sore tooth and you went to the dentist and they said to you, okay, we're going to take out every single tooth in your head, what would you say to them? It wouldn't be a really good idea. However, thousands, hundreds of thousands of students are going to IELTS review centres and IELTS schools and learning absolutely everything they need to know about IELTS, whereas in reality they just need to focus on their weaknesses and focus on the specific reasons why they're not getting the score that they need. So, for example, I had a student yesterday and they need to focus on a certain number of grammar mistakes like their articles or prepositions. They also need to focus on how to write a main body paragraph. Those are the two main reasons why they're not getting the score that they need. So instead of studying the whole IELTS book, they're just going to focus on those two areas and quickly get the score that they need. Well, not quickly, but as quickly as possible. Number 5, or where are we? Number 4, they take action, all right? Really simple, guys. Consuming information, not doing anything, you're not going to get the score that you need. You have to get feedback on your work and then strategically take action. Learn the things that you're not doing so well. Turn those into strengths by doing those things, taking action on them, making mistakes, fixing your mistakes, and turning your weaknesses into strengths. If you're not actually doing something, you're not going to improve it. Again, it would be like trying to get better at football by watching football. I watch football every weekend and I'm terrible at football. If just consuming information and not taking any action worked, I'd be as good as Messi or Ronaldo, but unfortunately I'm not, because I just watch football, I don't play football. Alright, so number 5, really important, but something that a lot of students don't think about and don't do is they have accountability. In other words, a lot of students, what happens with them is they're very motivated and they're going to do everything, and you give them a system and you give them feedback and you give them a strategy and they're going to take action, and then 2 weeks later, nothing. They don't do anything. And one way to combat that is to create accountability. And you can do this by telling your family and friends, listen, I'm going to study for 2 hours or 4 hours or 1 hour or 10 minutes or whatever it is per day. I'm going to do that. And if you don't do that, they'll say something to you and not make you feel great. Other thing is to surround yourself with other students doing the same thing. So in my VIP course, we have a Facebook group of lots of students, like-minded people, all going towards the same goal, and they keep each other accountable by posting essays and getting feedback on them, letting them know how they're doing, what the results are, how much work they're doing. It's really important that you are consistent in the time that you put in and the effort that you put in, the action that you put in. Don't, what a lot of students do is say they have 6 weeks to prepare, work really hard for 2 weeks, do nothing for 4 weeks or 5 weeks, and then the week before their test, start working again. Consistent action, having a system, getting feedback, taking action in a strategic way, and having accountability are really going to help you. And all of the students that I have helped get to a 7 or above have these things in common. None of them do even one of these things. Well, some of them might hope and pray that they get the score that they need. That's fine if you want to do that, but not without these things. So what I'm going to say now is I'm giving away a free place on my VIP course. So my VIP course is normally $500. About twice a year I give away one spot, and I'm doing that this weekend. So it is currently, what date is it? The 11th, Saturday the 11th of November. Sorry if you're watching this after the 13th of November, but you have between now and the 13th of November to join that. I'll put a link, if you're watching on Facebook, above the video, or if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put a link below this video. Just click on that link, enter your email address, and you'll be entered into the draw. One more thing, next week we have a brand new product coming out called IELTS Essay Builder, which is going to incorporate all of these things in a course that only lasts 1 week and costs $1. Going to give you more information about that next week. Alright, we're preparing that this weekend, all the stuff for that. Thank you very much, guys. Those are the 5 things that average students do and the 5 things that exceptional students do. Do less of this and more of this, and you'll be able to get the score that you need, and forget about this silly test and move on with your life. Thank you very much, guys. Please like the video, share it, do whatever you can, subscribe, like all of that good stuff. Thank you very much, guys. Bye bye.